Hi everyone, welcome back to Growling Sidewinder's World at War server. I had a lot of fun on this server in the previous video, and so thought I'd give it a decent try now I've got a little more time on my hands for a real session. So I jumped on, saw that the Germans were down significantly on the team count, so decided to pop into 109k and just see how I'd do there. For those of you who have seen my 109k campaign highlights, you can see that I've had some practice with this, so I certainly know the aircraft, not an expert, but know what I'm doing. For those of you who don't know about this server, it's one that Growling Sidewinder's developed himself, and it's set in a channel map, and the server generates air, land and sea targets, and it's just up to you to take off, find a suitable target and engage. It's really a lot of fun, really a lot of different situations you can find yourself in. There's both PvE and PvP, and so it's something that I really like. Anyway, let's jump straight to the first engagement. So after a few minutes I see these targets just below me as I'm crossing the channel. So I dive in to take a better look. Now I did have someone following on my wing up until this dive, but he seemed not to follow me down for this lot. Don't know if he just didn't see them or decided this was a bad idea. As I get closer I can see these are Spitfires. And right now they've not noticed me, so try and get close to line up a nice hit. FPS is a bit of an issue on this run, something to do with the latest patch. But I do manage to get off. Good burst on the first Spitfire. And here's really where I make a mistake. I was initially hoping to just quickly nip around and get on the tail of one of the other Spitfires. I really should have tried to get my speed and get out and re-engage later. Instead, here I start to get pulled into a turning fight, which may not be the end of the world with a single Spitfire, but I am outnumbered 3-1 since my escort decided not to engage here. Just double checking there that this is in fact a Spitfire and not the escort that's just reappeared. You can see you're getting some connection issues there. Again, not sure if it's the server or my end or just the latest patch messing things up. At this point, you can see I'm starting to get into trouble. I've lost my energy advantage. I'm trying to turn Spitfires and I'm outnumbered. So I'm at this point deciding that I need to try and disengage. Trying to get my bearings as to which side of the channel I'm on, while at the same time trying to look out for all of the Spitfires and not open myself up to be an easy target. I know that I can outspeed them, but the problem is they are very, very close. So I can't just extend away in a straight line, otherwise it could present an easy target. Almost get guns on that guy, but his friend is right behind me. So here I keep dithering between trying to straight up disengage or trying to damage anyone that presents an easy target to help me disengage. That first Spitfire that I took shots at finally goes down. There's really no way he's making it back to England with the amount of damage he took. A couple of 30mm rounds into his fuselage. But his friends are very much determined to make me pay for that. one finally gets hits on. These are Spitfire Mark 9s. They do have Browning machine guns and the Hispano cannons. And those Hispano cannons do hit their 20mm rounds. See just on the wing, they do a lot of damage, in addition to the Brownings, which are very easy to get the occasional hit with. Thankfully, most of the hits that are coming in right now are smaller Browning rounds. You can see they're definitely taking a toll. I've lost an aileron. Both wings are full of holes. The engine's really struggling right now. I'm just trying to burn it for France as fast as I can. I do have to watch it because the K4 does like to overheat its engine if you try and put it on full power for really any time at all. So I have to play with the temperature and keeping an eye on that red dial on the dash, which is the engine temperature. Pretty much if that hits the top white marker, the engine dies in a couple of seconds. Just trying to get my bearings here to work out where home is. Thankfully, this server does provide a full map. And the channel is fairly easy to navigate. So I'm trying to head home to the Dunkirk airfield where I took off from. Right now the Spitfires have broken off, so I just try and get the distance. So here I am a few minutes later, just finding the airfield. Do see flak going off, but I'm not too concerned. I'm more worried about just trying to land this plane, which is really not in good shape. Did turn on my landing lights just to give anyone on the field a heads up that I'm coming in, because I really don't want to crash into a friendly at this point. See the traces there, they seem to be going over the sea, so again I'm not too worried. At this point I think there's just an enemy coming in. Though I do see shots there, someone is strafing the airfield. Do take a couple of hits from, mysteriously, a friendly 109, which doesn't help the situation. There are also flak bursts going off in this direction, so there is an enemy nearby. But I'm really not sure. I've taken another set of hits. I don't know if I've got enough energy for a go-around, and so I'm dithering here between trying to land and trying not to land. Fortunately, I don't have a lot of speed. I am presenting a really easy target. And the AA are not quite managing to damage whatever's on the 6. Can just see it flying away there. Here I start to stall out. Did not have enough energy to go evasive at that point. And I try and bail, but it's too late. Taken too much damage. And so the kill goes to the enemy Spitfire there that shot me on landing. Well, almost made it back. Unfortunately did not bail in time, and so that's a pilot death. So, 1 victory, 1 pilot killed. Not the best start, not the worst start. The server reset a few minutes later and jumped back in. After a bit of flying around patrolling the channel, I see a fellow German player here engaging a set of A-20s that are heading back to England after bombing airbase. So I finally catch up to them here, had some trouble keeping track of them, spotting against the ocean's a bit difficult for me. You can see this other 109 has reached the targets first. He's doing a good job engaging them, cuts the tail off that A-20. So I'm just trying to close the distance here. He may well have managed to clear these up himself, but I thought I'd give him a hand. Especially as they're almost at the English coast at this point. I don't know what kind of anti-air defences are near the coast. So I was lining up on this target here, then I notice he's lining up on the same one. I don't want to get into a shoulder shooting fight with him, so let him engage that one, and I turn on the one far right here. Now the A20s aren't too much to worry about. When they do have a bit of a blind spot if you stay level on their 6. They've got a top and a bottom gun, and neither can really engage you as long as you stay flat on like this. The top gun does have a view of you, but if you keep that tail booming away, then they can't really shoot at you without taking off their own tail. So I'm just trying to keep level with this and close the range. Let off a few shots here. Realise I'm a little too far to the side so the tail gunner can get me. It does hit me a couple of times, but then I light up this plane. Got a couple of hits, but he is on fire. Normally fire leads to death in DCS. There's not a lot of ways that you can really put it out. I'm not 100% sure, so I do just want to make sure this guy is going down. I've lost track of the others anyway, still have plenty of ammo. But then you can just see the crew beginning to bail. So there we go, one kill. And in the meantime, the other K4 takes care of the final A20, and so we've taken out this entire group. And I start heading back across the channel to rearm and prepare, and I run smack bang into this furball that's going on here. Don't know who is who, but there seem to be casualties being posted on both sides. So I try and regain my speed and engage. I was heading back low over the sea, so I don't have the best energy state here. Let's see. Germans and allies here engaging. The kill feed, it looks like Fokker Wolves and Mustangs. Absolutely don't mean to buzz past these pilots here, I was just paying more attention to the planes than the parachutes. So apologies to those guys for giving me a bit of a heart attack. See a Spitfire there. He's turning on a 190. So I do a vertical route to try and get around. Just double check who I'm looking at here. See Spitfire unfortunately sees me, turns vertical before I can get vertical. Seem to be doing okay energy wise here, trying to keep the fight in the vertical. A couple of hits in there and take a part of his wing off. He's streaming. But fortunately, while I've been engaging that guy, this Mustang comes in and really does a number on me. So I've taken a lot of damage here. I'm on fire, and the point that I see I'm on fire, that's pretty much hopeless for me. I just decide to bail while I still can. Bit of a creepy view of my own neck. but I managed to get out as the Mustang debates whether or not to blow up the aircraft. So, again, one kill and one defeat there, and I joined the line of other pilots in parachutes. So I jump back in the plane, head over to the channel where the fight was. By the time I get there, it's all over, but I do see this Mustang streaming white and go in to make sure it's not going to make it back to England. We're lining up with a very nice shot here, then I notice his propeller isn't even spinning, so there's no way he has the energy to make it back. I'm not going to steal someone else's kill, so I just pull up and away, save my ammo for something else. Luckily it doesn't take me long to find some more contacts. These are the Spitfires. I think they're also heading back from that same engagement. And you can see that there's also Fokker Wolves in the area. So I go in here, trying to clear the Fokker Wolf. Spitfire does see me, or it dives after the Fokker Wolf. Again, getting some frame rate issues. Apparently the patch, so there's not much I can do about that, so apologies. Do take a couple of big hits. The plane isn't really behaving, but I do manage to clear the Fokker Wolf in that turn. Probably not the wisest thing I could have done. Probably should have looked after myself, but I'm quite happy with saving a Fokker Wolf, even if it is at the cost of my own plane. Engine's dead, radio's dead, thing has a hole in it. At this point, I do try and drag the Spitfire for a bit, just to see if I can open up an easy target on the Fokker Wolf. There's really no way I'm making it back to the channel, and if I stay there I'm just going to end up taking a bullet to the face. So out I go again, once again trading one plane for one plane. Well, there's nothing else for it but to jump back in the cockpit, head over the channel, and here I get some good news. For a bit of flying, I spot these, formation of 4 B-17s at low level. And this is where all of that practice in the Kurfürst campaign finally pays off. So, dive in on them, don't get a really good shooting opportunity on the first pass, mostly because I forget to arm the guns. Probably could have got a couple of decent hits there, but it's not enough. So, try and remember, put on the master arm switch, take the safety off the weapon, and also charge the 30mm rounds now. Just trying to get my bearings at this point. You can see the bombers going in, they're heading towards France, so I need to try and stop them before they get too close. These are B-17s, so these are very dangerous to approach, especially approaching in a straight line. So I prefer to get a bit of height on them and at least dive a little bit, spending as little time as possible on their tails. Decide to go for this extreme left-hand one first, try and chip away at the formation. So one good firing pass there, and he's on fire. Putting both my machine guns and the 20mm rounds into him. He's banking heavily and on fire, so I leave him be. Pick the next target. Let's go for the rear plane formation here. And a couple more 30mm rounds in. Again, it's fire. Fire is not a guarantee of a kill. but I do get my first kill at that point. First B-17% of Bale. Fire does seem to be raging quite well in the second. And there goes the crew in the second. Trying to get my altitude to make another pass. They are getting quite close to the coast now. Don't quite have enough lead. New shots. Again, nip under him, put a couple of 30mm rounds through his engine, and again set another fire. These B-17s can take a 30mm round or two without disintegrating, but a 30mm into the wing does seem to almost always cause a fire at the very least. I do have a 6 at this point. The escorts fighters have finally turned up and seem a little bit miffed that I am picking apart the B-17s. I was thinking of just going evasive here. As I turn around, see that I am actually really well lined up on this B-17 over here. Friendly aircraft are coming in to try and knock up the rest. Now, I am taking rounds here. AA is going off everywhere. Let's see if I can try and finish this B-17 here. I'm out of cannon rounds at this point, so I just have my machine guns, but machine guns do a pretty good job at setting fires as well. These are the late war German machine guns. They are pretty beefy. Do pack a punch, just nothing near like what a 50 cal can be. 30 mil too. At this point I'm trying to just RTB. I've expended pretty much all my ammo. You can see the ammo counters there are pretty much dry. So I can't really defend myself against the fighters. And there goes the final B-17. Trying to keep low and disengage, seeing if I can survive this. Now, I'd love to say that I managed to get back in one piece. I certainly got back to the airfield, pretty much undamaged here. But it's been a little while since I've landed the 109K, and I just come in too heavily here. I bounce. Try and get balance back, right landing gear collapses. I'm trying to slow it down, and I nose over. And start a fire. I bail immediately, trying to get out there, but hopefully my pilot would have survived that. We'll just have to pretend. I think he's got a few days in the hospital at the very least. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that. I certainly did. If you did, consider leaving a like. If you have any comments, questions, just please leave them below. Including any other planes you'd like me to see take out on the server. As I said, I also have the Dora. I'm considering getting the Jug at some point in the coming months. Otherwise, I hope you all take care and have fun.